Hi! One of the things that we have been working on in our family is getting prepared for an emergency. There's lots of different disasters going on around, and I want my family to be prepared and comfortable in case an emergency comes. One way to do this is with a 72-hour kit. This 72-hour kit, the purpose of it is something that you can grab really easy from your home and get out wherever you are in an emergency. And it leaves you with supplies, food, water, and everything you will need for 3 days in case of a survival. There's also different things that you can do if you have to stay in your home, like storing food and supplies like that as well. I also have a food supply and emergency supplies for my home in case we have to stay in our home for quite a while. We have a lot of water stored in big barrels, and we also have food and blankets and emergency things that we need in case we are stuck in our home. So today I'd like to show with you a few of the things that I've been working on for the emergency 72-hour kit. The first thing you will need is you will need a backpack or a bag that you can grab on the go and take it quickly with you. I do everything like this in 7 because I have 7 people in my family. So it's been taking me a little while to get everything prepared because I have to do everything times 7. But it's really great to have a bag that you can grab easily and fill up, but it's also easy to carry. This bag turns into a backpack as well, and you can roll it. So it kind of has both functions that you could use, and it's nice and large and roomy in the inside. So I like this bag, but whatever you find comfortable that you want to carry is also great. Now I'm going to go over and show you some of the things that you are going to want to take with you inside your 72-hour kit. The first and most important thing is food. So what I've done here is I've gone over food that will be sustained. You know, you don't know when you're going to use your emergency kit. It could be 1 year, it could be 5 years, it could be never. So you want to make sure that the food will last, and I usually change out my food every 3 years, and I'll show you kind of how to do that. Now, assuming in an emergency you will not have any access to electricity or boiling water or anything for those 3 days. Usually you get your electricity on hopefully after 3 days. But the purpose of these kits is to be able to eat without having to cook anything. So a couple of the things I have inside of our food is I've got nuts, Pop-Tarts, gum, and I've got in here some oatmeal, some vitamin with this powder that you put in. You mix it with your water. We've got cookies and crackers and Oreos. I've got some hot chocolate mix and some Cliff Bars, protein bars. And also I do have, in case we are able to get water, I have this bag of soup, and I really like this dehydrated soup. It makes a lot. You could actually live off this soup for 3 days if you needed to. So in case we do have access to water, I do have some soup. Then in this bag here, I have Capri Suns, and I've got some more protein bars, just like these, the Zone bars. And I have some SpaghettiOs and raviolis and a thing of canned chicken. It's also important to pack what's in this other bag? It's also important to pack a can opener in your preparedness bag. But these are the foods that my children will eat. So if your children are picky like mine are, they aren't going to, even in an emergency, eat something that they wouldn't like. So if you're going to store Spam and your kids won't eat Spam, it's not worth it to pack it. You have to pack food that your kids will eat. And then I found these plastic utensils, but they're really sturdy plastic. They're not disposable. I found these at Walmart, and they were really, really cheap, like 40 cents a piece. So I have those in there, and that is all that I have for the food. And what I'm going to do with the food is I'm going to show you how to store it in a Mylar bag, and we will show you how to do that right now. Mylar bags are known as oxygen absorbing bags. You can get these at different emergency supply stores, and I got this giant bag and I cut it in half. And what I'm going to do is I've already put my food in these baggies. So what we want to do is we want to keep the oxygen away from the food to protect it. I did make one of these in 1999 and I ate the food out of it in 2009 and it was still really good, and it's the same kind of food. So, I mean, it wasn't delicious, but it was fine and it worked, and that's what we're trying to do here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put this food, I'm going to keep it in the Ziploc bag just so I have it organized. I'm going to put it right in here inside the bag. And I have my iron on a hot setting, and what I'm going to do also is I'm going to put this one in here. And this just makes it easier for the food not to get all over the other items in the preparedness kit. Now, the next important thing to add is an oxygen absorbing pack. These little packs right here, you see them usually in food like beef jerky. What it does is it helps to preserve the food. It sucks the oxygen out of the air that is in the bag that's already left in here. So I'm going to put 2 in there because it's kind of a big bag. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to seal down the ends of this bag together. I'm going to just push it like this, and I'm going to seal it down just like this. You can do it just on the end or however much you want, but you just need to seal it like that. And I'm going to seal the end of it like that. Now you can see that it's all sealed nice and tight, and this is my food that is going to fit inside the backpack. So this is great. Now that we have our bags done, the next important thing that is very, very crucial is water. Right here, I have 3 1-liter bottles of water. You should have at least a liter of water for 3 days. So I've got these smaller containers to put them in because I think it'll be easier to fit in the backpack. Another important thing is toilet paper. So each one of our backpacks is going to have a thing of toilet paper in it. And you also need a blanket to keep you warm or to help make a shade if you need shade. A couple other things you can use are some cord or some rope. I've got both of those there. And we have ponchos, lightweight ponchos for each person in our family to help in case it rains. We also have a little tube tent that you can make with rope, and it just hangs over, and this would be good for a shade if you needed that. All of these you can find at emergency supply stores. Also, you will need a first aid kit in case of hurt, scratches, burns, whatever. You need to be able to take care of those emergencies as well. Another important thing to pack with your food are your medicine. And we like to store at least 5 days of medicine in our emergency supply kit. And I've just put in Excedrin and ibuprofen and Tylenol and some of our medications. And the other important thing is cash. Cash is very, very important to have stored up. Cash is king in all the emergencies. I heard that of Hurricane Sandy, that cash is one of the most important things that you can store. So have cash and your medicine on hand. Another thing that we like to make sure that you have is fuel. So we have fuel in a propane tank because I have a Coleman cooking stove that we can use. We also have a barbecue grill. But in case we're really, going on the run, we're going to bring our cooking stove with us in a separate bag and some fuel. So we will be able to use some water if we do need to actually use this water. We could use some for cooking and brushing our teeth, and we will have access to fuel. Okay, another important thing to do is, in an emergency, is have your vital paper and information with you. So I have here copies of our passports and of our licenses. I have copies of special important documents that are really meaningful to my family. I have my genealogy records in here, and I also have our homeowners insurance policy and all of our health insurance coverage as well. Another couple things let's talk about are some other supplies that you're going to need in your kit. So in this bag right here, I have duct tape, And I also have made some little rolls of duct tape around a tube of toilet paper. So for the kids, they'll have each one, and this one's for me, but for my kids, I just wrap some duct tape around an end of toilet paper there. We have our scriptures that we are going to take with us. Another thing we have are zip ties. Zip ties can be used and they'll be very helpful in an emergency if you need to put up a tent or you need to repair something. Zip ties are great along with the duct tape. We also have can openers and waterproof matches and a lighter right there, and so I put them in a plastic bag so they don't get wet. Also candles. It's important for us where we live, where it's really hot all the time, to put your candles in a baggie. So if you're storing it out in your garage or somewhere in your home gets hot, you need to make sure that they don't melt all over everything. Another thing that each person in our family has is a flashlight. And the flashlights have LED lights in them now, and they last a lot longer. But you are going to have to change your batteries more often than obviously you're going to have to change your food. So your batteries, make sure you check every 6 months, and every year switch out your batteries to make sure you have enough batteries. Another thing I found are these masks, so you can, breathe in case there's chemical problems. You can breathe with a mask. Those are cheap. We have a pocket knife. Everybody needs a good pocket knife. You can do all sorts of things with a pocket knife. And I have another can opener to open different kinds of cans. And that's just another pocket knife. Another important thing to have on hand is some paper and a Sharpie. So you can write a note. We've gone to meet at grandma's or whatever. You can write a note saying where you are, or you can document what's going on and make sure people communicate with each other. Another idea that I thought would be really important is to have a pair of gloves. These gloves can help if you need to dig. You should also have a shovel to take with you. Some of these supplies I don't have right here because they're in our garage in our camping supplies. But in case of a 72-hour kit, it's important if there's debris or anything and you need to clean up the debris around your home, a pair of gloves would be good. Then in here you can see I have all the extra batteries right in here. So, okay, 2 more things that go in the supply bag are some games and your pan that you want to use for cooking. I'm using this pan to go with all of the food. It has a nice little handle on it. It can cook over the stove and you can make anything, cereal or soup or whatever you need, you can use inside of this pan. So you want to make sure that you have those supplies too. Emergency road flares. This is an important thing to have as well. You want to be able to have emergency flares, and they come in cheap packs. You can also try to find these on sale. They're not too expensive, but this is another thing that we have, talking about clothing, is a supply of clothes. And what I've done is I've just put in a pair of shorts, a pair of long pants, 2 shirts, our undergarments and everything like that. And those are also in this bag, socks, and an extra pair of shoes that will go into the bag. The next item that we have that we're going to put in our kits are personal hygiene kits. So one of the things that you have them again in our Ziploc bag, this is for the boys in our family. And there is a washcloth in case they will ever wash their faces. Who knows? But there is also a little kit here inside this kit. And it has shaving cream, deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrush, and a razor and a comb and some mouthwash. And there's also a little bag in here that they can put their toothbrush in when they're done if they don't want to get it dirty, or store some more supplies in there. And each person will also have a thing of toilet paper in their bag. That's the one thing that goes fastest out of grocery stores, fuel and toilet paper. So those are the very important things you want to stock up and have extra at your home. And that goes inside this bag. Also, I have a thing of handy wipes and a thing of soap that can go in there. And another really cool thing that I have inside of each of the hygiene kits is this tool. It's a light, and it is a flashlight, and it is a flare light, and it has a whistle on it. I got these at Walmart, and they were pretty cheap, like $2.35 or something. I got one for each child, and they have different colors, and I think this is so awesome. The reason why I'm putting in these kits is in case you need to go to the restroom and you are out in the dark and you don't know your way around. So I put this in this pack so it's easy to grab quickly from your bag. This also is a flashlight right here, and if you click it again, it's a glow light and a glow stick, and this will last 200 hours. If you click it again, it will flash, and it also is a whistle. How about that? I mean, really, this is worth the whole 72-hour kit. We could play with this for hours. But I know that this is something that could also be used in an emergency and will be a great tool. So those are going inside of the kit. Now, a couple of different things are different for girls in your kits, and one of those would be your feminine products that you will need in there. Another thing that I wanted to put into my girls' kits that we have are ponytail holders, because you always need to throw your hair in a ponytail, and especially if you're not going to wash your hair for a couple days, you'll want to do that. Here's this one, the little light that goes in there, and that was just the difference. A few, also in the girls' kits, I got them some tissue and their supplies, their toiletry supplies that they would need for that. So that's all we have right there in these kits. There's one of the last things that you're going to need inside your emergency kit is a portable radio. This is a rechargeable radio, so that means you can recharge the batteries by going like this. It is very important to be able to keep on what's going on in the outside world. You might not have electricity, you might not know what's going on, and you're going to want to have a portable radio. So if your cell phones are down and they're not working, make sure that you have some form of way to communicate. This is also would be good to have walkie-talkies so you can communicate with your family as well. All right, so here we have our bag, and it is full of all of our important items, and I'm just going to show you how you just kind of shove it all in there and make sure that you put this in. Another important thing that you can add if you have younger kids are games, and I like to have a little supply of chocolate on hand too. So I keep that just hidden around the house so my kids couldn't get into my emergency supply kit and find that. All right, check that out. We've got our backpack and our bag, and we are ready to go in case of emergency with our 72-hour kit.